Hello students, continuing with unit number 4, investment decisions. Today we will be seeing the traditional methods of investment evaluation techniques. As you already know that this module covers theory part, that is meaning of capital budgeting process, capital rationing, risk analysis in capital budgeting, which I have already covered in my previous video lecture. Today, we will be seeing investment evaluation techniques, but only the traditional methods, that is payback period, discounted payback period, and accounting rate of return. So for all these three, I have named it as module 4.2a. Moving ahead, as you'll already know that investment evaluation techniques are divided into two types. Traditional method, which is also called as non-discounting cash flow technique, and discounted cash flow technique methods, under which we will be seeing net present value, internal rate of return plus the modified internal rate of return, and profitability index. So in my today's video lecture, I will be covering payback period and accounting rate of return, that is how to calculate and find out which investment is best or which is recommended. So first let us start with payback period method. Now what do you mean by payback? See, whenever you're making an investment, suppose in a particular project, so you have first the cash outflow, correct? Because when you're investing in any particular plan, project, so you need to first invest in it by putting some money, so that becomes your cash outflow. Now what is the meaning of payback period is, in how many years will that project fetch you back the amount that you have invested. For example, if you have invested 1 lakh in a project, okay, and once the project has been started, in how many years will you recover back or get back, or how many years in which will the project pay back the initial investment that you have made, or the initial cash outflow that you have made, is nothing but, we will come to know through which method? Payback method. So let us see what is the meaning. The number of years required for the proposal's cumulative cash inflow to be equal to its cash outflow is called as the payback period. So the year in which your cash inflow, cumulative cash inflow, will be equal to your cash outflow. Cash outflow already it has happened at the beginning or the start of the project, because once you invest the project, then only the project or then only the particular investment plan that you have opted will start giving you or start fetching you the returns. So the returns is nothing but the cash inflow. So the year in which the cumulative cash inflow. What do you mean by cumulative? Cumulative means where you are adding the cash inflow for a particular year plus the previous year. Cumulative means, suppose if you have invested in a project amount of rupees 1 lakh, and every year you're getting 10,000 rupees, for suppose every year suppose you're getting 20,000 rupees for a period of 5 years. So the first year, what is going to be the cumulative cash inflow? 20,000. For second year, it is going to be 20,000 of the second year plus 20,000 of the first year, that is 40,000. So cumulative cash inflow for the second year is 40,000. So I hope you all understood what is the meaning of cumulative cash inflow. Next. Now, many a times when you invest in a project or in any plan, investment plans, either every year that plan or the project can give you a cash inflow which is equal in the amount. That means the cash inflow in the first year will be equal to the cash inflow in the second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year, till the project is fetching you returns. So if the amount is equal every year, if the return amount is equal every year, it is called equal annual cash inflows. So suppose if a particular project or a plan is giving you equal annual cash inflows, then how do you calculate payback period? There's a formula, that is initial outflow of the project divided by annual cash inflow. So by this formula, it will give you the payback period. Period means it is going to be in the terms of years, that how many years will it take for a particular project to get back its initial cash outflow. Next, suppose every year if there is an unequal cash inflows. Now, many a times it may so happen that, for example, 1 lakh you have invested. So for the first year you may receive 8,000, for second year you may receive 4,000, for the third year you may receive 10,000. So here the cash inflows are not uniform every year. Okay. So when there is unequal cash inflows, how do you calculate payback period? So there is step. Step number 1, you have to find out the cumulative cash inflows. And step number 2, payback period will be what? The year in which the cumulative cash inflow will be equal to the cash outflow of the project. So, the year in which the cumulative cash flow is same as the amount of the cash outflow that, or the amount of investment that you have made in the project, if that both amount equals, in which year, that particular year will be your payback period. However, in some cases, the cumulative cash inflow may not be exactly same as the cash outflow. See, exactly same figure you may not get. So in that case, what has to be done? We will check. So is this slide clear? First of all, what is the meaning of payback period? Payback period is nothing but the period or the number of years that it will take for a particular plan to recover back the amount that it has invested. So in other words, it is nothing but the period of time in which the project's cash outflow can be recovered from the project's cash inflow. So whenever in a particular investment plan, if you're getting equal returns every year, so how do you calculate? Initial cash outflow of the project divided by annual cash inflow. Suppose you're getting unequal cash inflows, then always calculate cumulative cash inflow. You know how to calculate cumulative cash inflow. What you have to do is year wise, you have to add the cash inflow of a particular year with the previous year. You will get the cumulative cash inflows. Then what is the payback period? The payback period is the year in which the cumulative cash inflow is equal to your cash outflow. That will be your payback period. Payback period is always in number of years. But many a times what will happen is cumulative cash inflow may not be same as may not be same as cash outflow. So in such cases, what is to be done? We will be seeing in our succeeding slide. When cumulative cash flow may not be exactly same as cash outflow, that is in case of unequal cash flows. So what is the formula? N plus cash outflow minus cumulative cash flow of N divided by cash flow of next year. You all got to remember this formula, where N is nothing but the year in which the cumulative cash flow nears cash outflow. So the year in which your cumulative cash flow is going to be very near to your cash outflow amount. Suppose cumulative cash flow is 96,000 and your cash flow is 1 lakh. So 96,000 is very near to 1 lakh, and this 96,000 is returns you are getting in the year, suppose third year. So N will be 3. Better you all will understand when I show you all how to solve the problems. But always remember, whenever there is cumulative cash flow and that cash flow is not exactly to the same amount of the cash, suppose there is cumulative cash flow and that amount is not exactly as same as the cash outflow, then you have to use this formula compulsorily, which is N plus cash outflow minus cumulative cash inflow of N divided by cash flow of next year. Now types of payback period. You have 3 types of payback period, that is discounted payback period, post payback period and bailout payback period. See, you know that there are 2 cash flows. Either it can be a cash inflow or cash outflow. So whatever you are investing in the project becomes your cash outflow. Whatever returns you are getting from the project becomes your cash inflow. So discounted payback period, the formula to calculate the payback period is initial cash outflow, that is the initial investment, divided by discounted annual cash flows. Now the normal payback period, how do you calculate? That is cash outflow divided by annual cash flows. But here under discounted method, you are going to discount the cash flows. That means bringing the cash flow to the present value. Always when is the discounting technique used? Whenever you are going to bring the cash flow to the present value. So how to find out the present value? You know that you have to refer the tables, present value tables, that is table number C, and you have to multiply it with the respective cash flows. You will get the discounted annual cash flows. Next is post payback period. The economic life beyond the payback period is referred to as post payback period. Like suppose if your payback period, like you all calculated it as per your previous slide, your payback period is 5 years and there is still some life left in that particular project, so that the life beyond the payback period is your post payback period. If the post payback duration is 0, the investment is worthless no matter how short the payback. Next is bailout payback period. Now when is the bailout payback period reached? This bailout payback period is reached when cumulative cash receipts, which is nothing but cumulative cash inflows plus salvage value. Salvage value is nothing but the scrap value at the end of a particular year will be equal to the initial investments. So how will you find out the bailout payback period? First you will find out the cumulative cash receipts, then you will add it with the salvage value, and the year in which these two will be equal to the initial investment, that is the initial cash outlays, that will be the year which will be termed as the bailout payback period. So once again, we just revise this slide. Payback period is of three types. Discounted, where we discount the cash inflows, like for the first year receiving 10,000, second year 20,000, third year 30,000. Then you have to bring this 10, 20, 30 to the present value. What is going to be the present value of all this? Obviously, already we have seen in unit number 2, time value of money, how to use the discounting factor. Next is post payback period, which is nothing but whatever is the economic life beyond the payback period is termed as post payback period. And bailout payback period is nothing but when you add the cumulative cash inflows with the salvage value, and that particular amount has to be equal to the initial investment. So the year in which it is equal to the initial investment, that will be the year called as bailout payback period. Next, whatever I have explained, you all will understand better when you solve the problems. So try understanding the problems. Now we'll be seeing problems on payback period. Okay. So determine the payback period. First of all, everyone knows what is payback period. Payback period is the period that is in number of years, which will tell us that how many years are required to get back the amount that we have invested. So determine the payback period for a proposal which involves a cash outflow of rupees 10 lakhs and a cash inflow is projected at rupees 2 lakh per annum for 8 years. What is the question meaning? The question means that 10 lakh is the investment that you're making in a particular project, and from that project every year you're getting 2 lakh rupees for 8 years. Is this clear? Now let us see the solution. So what is the formula for payback period? See, here they are not telling us to find out the discounted payback. Here they are not telling us to find out the bailout payback. So here we are purely to find out the normal payback period. So formula for payback period is initial cash outflow divided by annual cash inflows. See, you all know there are two different formulas. Number one, when the cash inflows are equal, and number two, when the cash inflows are unequal. So unequal we will be seeing in the next problems, but now here the cash inflows are equal. So the formula is initial cash outflow divided by annual cash inflow. This formula is to be used only and only when there is equal amount of cash inflows. So since 2 lakh rupees is received equal every year for 8 years, we are using this formula. So what is the initial cash outflow? It is 10 lakh divided by 2 lakh. So payback period is 5 years. That means within 5 years, we will recover the amount that we have invested, that is rupees 10 lakhs. Moving ahead to the next problem. So based on the problems, you all please relate to the theory that I have explained. You all will understand it better. Next, Apple Limited has two options. The initial investment of both the project is 10 lakhs. So this 10 lakhs become nothing but cash outflow. Project A has an even cash inflow of rupees 1 lakh every year. See, project A has even cash inflow. So which formula are you going to use for even? Even is nothing but equal. So how do you calculate payback period when the cash flows are equal? It is nothing but initial cash outflow divided by annual cash inflow. Okay, let us see what is there for project B. Project B is divided into two cases, case 1, case 2. So case 1, project B has unequal cash inflows as follows. Means in project B, for the first year it is going to give you 2 lakh cash inflow. For the second year it is going to give you a cash inflow of 3 lakh. For the third year it is going to give you a cash inflow of 4 lakh. And in the fourth year it is going to give you a cash inflow of 1 lakh. Case 2. Also determine the payback period in the below case where project B is having the below cash flows. So the cash flows are unequal, but there is some changes in case 2. So in year 1, 2 lakh, year 2, 3 lakh, year 3, 7 lakh, year 4, 1 lakh 50. So let us see the solution. So first for project A, it is having equal cash flow. Okay, what is the formula? Formula for payback period is initial cash outflow divided by annual cash inflow. So 10 lakh is your cash outflow divided by cash inflow, that is 1 lakh, is equals to 10 years. So the payback period for project A is 10 years. What do you mean by this? Means it will take 10 years to recover the amount that has been invested initially. Okay. Next, let us see project B. Calculation of payback period for project B, case 1, case 2. So for case 1, write the two columns as it is, that is the years and the cash inflows. See, I am writing these two columns as it is. So when the cash flows are unequal, what are the steps to be followed? Step number 1, calculate the cumulative cash inflows. And step number 2, the year in which the cumulative cash inflow is equal to the cash outflow, that will be the payback period. So let us see, how do you calculate cumulative? We are just adding one more column, cumulative cash inflows. How do we calculate cumulative cash inflows? First, take it as it is. For the first year, it will be as it is 2 lakh. For the second year, it will be 2 lakh, that is cumulative cash inflow of the previous year plus cash flow of the next year. So 2 lakh plus 3 lakh, that is 5 lakh. For the third year, what will be the cumulative cash inflow? That is cumulative cash inflow of the previous year plus cash inflow of the succeeding year. So 5 lakh plus 4 lakh is nothing but 9 lakh. For the fourth year, how do you calculate cumulative cash inflow? Cumulative cash inflow is nothing but cumulative cash inflow of the previous year plus cash flow of the next year. So you get it 10 lakhs. So what you have to do, just go on adding. For the first year, it will always be same. For the first year, the cash inflow and cumulative cash flow will always be same. And for the next years, you have to just keep on adding. 2 lakh plus 3 lakh, 5 lakh, 5 lakh plus 4 lakh, 9 lakh, 9 lakh plus 1 lakh, 10 lakh. So what we have seen that in case of unequal cash flow, how do you calculate payback period? First calculate cumulative cash flow. The year in which the cumulative cash flow is equal to the original investment or the cash outflow. So what is a cash outflow? Cash outflow is 10 lakh rupees. Here is the cash outflow is total is 10 lakh rupees. So tell me which is the year among all the years, which is the year in which the cumulative cash flow is equal to the cash outflow, that is 10 lakhs. So it is in the year 4. In the fourth year, cumulative cash inflow will is equal to your cash outflow of 10 lakh rupees. So payback period will be fourth year, 4 years. Next, case 2. Case 2, as it is, I have taken the question and added one more column. So always remember, when there is unequal cash flow, you have to just add one column, that is cumulative cash inflows. You have to see the year in which the cumulative cash inflows is equal to the cash outflow. That particular year will be your payback period. Okay, case 2, I have, as it is written the question, and just added one more column, that is cumulative cash inflows. How do you calculate cumulative cash inflows? It is nothing but for the first year, the cash flows and the cumulative cash inflows will be the same. From the second year onwards, you have to just go on adding. 2 lakh plus 3 lakh is 5 lakh. 5 lakh plus 7 lakh is 12 lakh. 12 lakh plus 1 lakh 50 is 13 lakh 50,000. Now, what we have to see, we have to start searching the year in which the cumulative cash inflow is equal to the cash outflow. Now, cash outflow is 10 lakhs. Now, is there any year in which you are getting cumulative cash inflow of 10 lakhs? No. But, so this case I've already discussed in theory that where your cumulative cash inflows is not exactly as same as your cash outflow. Once again, after we doing these problems, I request you all once again go through the theory part of what I've explained, that then you all will understand it much better. So cumulative cash inflows, you are not finding any year in which it is exactly same. So what did I mention in my video lecture, that if you, what did I mention in the PPT slides, that if the cumulative cash inflows is not exactly as same as your cash outflow is 10 lakhs, you'll know. So what you have to do, you have to use a formula. What is the formula? N plus cash outflow minus cumulative cash flow of N. Whatever is N, and what is the cumulative cash flow of N, divided by cash flow of next year. Not cumulative cash flow of next year, only cash flow of next year. Now what is N? I told you. N is a year in which your cumulative cash flow is nearing to the cash outflow. Now you have to always see in an ascending order. Now 2 lakh, next 5 lakh, and next directly 12 lakh, and your cash outflow is 10 lakhs. So which is nearing to it? That is 5 lakhs. So N will be 2. 2 plus cash outflow. Cash outflow you know is 10 lakhs minus cumulative cash flow of N. So N is 2. What is the cumulative cash flow of N? 5 lakh. So 10 lakh minus 5 lakh divided by cash flow of next year. So what is the next year? Next year 2 means the next year will be 3. What is the cash flow of third year? It is 7 lakh. So 7 lakh. First always solve this part and then add it with 2. So 10 lakh minus 5 lakh is nothing but 5 lakh divided by 7 lakh, you get 0.7 plus 2. So the payback period is 2.7 years. I hope you all have understood the payback period. You all will have only two cases. Either you will have annual cash inflows, either you all will have equal annual cash inflows or unequal annual cash inflows. If you have equal annual cash inflows, there is a simple formula, that is cash outflow divided by cash inflow. Suppose if you have unequal cash inflows, then you have to always find cumulative cash inflows. In that you can have again two scenarios where you find exactly a year where your cumulative cash inflow is equal to your outflow, or you may not find the exact year in which your cumulative cash inflow is not be equal to your cash outflows. So you have to use this formula in that case. Okay, moving to next sum. A project costs rupees 2,50,000 and yield annually a profit of 50,000 after depreciation at a rate of 12% per annum, but before taxes of 50%. Calculate the payback period. So here they are saying that annually they are earning a profit of 50,000. So this is becomes an equal cash inflow. So what is the formula for calculating the payback period for equal cash inflow? It is nothing but initial cash outflow divided by annual cash inflow. So the formula for payback period is written. Now it is cash inflow and cash outflow. So can we consider non-cash items? No. But depreciation in this problem is a non-cash items. In depreciation only the value is decreased. There is no cash coming in or going out. But this 50,000 profit is after depreciation. So what we have to do? We have to add back the depreciation. But taxes is being calculated on a profit which is deducted depreciation. So initial cash outflow we have already given in the problem. They have already given 2,50,000. Only annual cash inflow we have to calculate. So we'll have a working note for that. Calculation of annual cash inflows. So profit is 50,000. You less tax at the rate of 50%. So 25,000. Profit after tax is 25,000. You add back depreciation. Why are you adding back the depreciation? Because depreciation is a non-cash item. So we have to only find out the cash inflows. So we have to add back that expense since it is a non-cash expense. So you get a annual cash inflow of 55,000. Just substitute this in the formula and you will get the answer. So formula for payback period is initial cash outflow divided by annual cash inflow. Initial cash outflow is already given in the problem 2,50,000 divided by 55,000. Therefore the payback period is 4.5 years. Next, moving ahead to the fourth problem. A company wants to reduce its labor cost by installing a new machine. Two types of machine are available in the market. That is machine X and machine Y. Machine X is equals to 18,000 rupees is the cost and machine Y cost is 15,000 rupees. Both the machines can reduce annual labor cost by 3,000 rupees. You are required to calculate the payback period for both the machines and recommend the best machine. Okay. So here initial cash outflow is already given that the machine X cost 8,000 and machine Y will cost 15,000. So we know initial cash outflow is already given. But here annual cash inflow is not given. But we know that we can save and increase our inflow by 3,000 rupees because they are saying that both the machine can reduce the labor cost by 3,000 rupees. So we'll be having an inflow of 3,000 rupees. We'll be having a savings of 3,000 rupees. So that becomes our annual cash inflow. So let us calculate. Formula for payback period is nothing but initial cash outflow divided by annual cash inflow. And we know that annual cash inflow is equal to the annual labor cost, which is nothing but 3,000. So calculation of payback period. So initial cash outflow for machine X is 18,000, machine Y 15,000. Annual cash inflow is equally for both 3,000, 3,000. So payback period is initial cash outflow divided by initial cash inflow. So for machine X it is 6 years and machine Y it is 5 years. So here they told us to recommend the best machine. Now which is the best machine? The best machine is machine Y. Why? Because in less number of years we will be recovering back our amount that we have invested, or in less number of years we have to compare this both, which is giving the less number of years in which year is having a less payback period is machine Y. That means in 5 years only we'll be recovering our cash outflow of 15,000. Cost also is less. Therefore machine Y is the best machine. Next let us see a sum on discounted payback period. See, discounted payback period is nothing but the normal payback period only, but here the cash flows we will be bringing it to the present value by using the discounting factors, which we already know. Everyone has the table with them, the present value, future value tables. So you have to see table number C, which is going to give you the present value of a single cash flow. Let me read the problem. XYZ is considering to purchase a machine, each costing rupees 50,000. The cash inflows are expected to be as under. Calculate the discounted payback using 10% discount rate. So machine, we know that initial cash outflow is how much? 50,000, and we know that the inflows for machine X is for different year is 15,000, 20, 25, 15 and 10,000. And for machine Y, for the first year it is 5,000, 15,000, 20,000, 13,000 and 20,000. So let us start solving. Let us start finding the payback period. So calculation of discounted payback period. And now tell me which formula will we use. Since the cash inflows are unequal. So when the cash inflows are unequal, which method do you use? You use the method of finding out the cumulative cash inflows. Clear? Okay. So here cash inflows. This I'm writing as it is for machine X. So these two columns as it is I'm writing. Then the next step is you have to find out the discounting factor at the rate of 10%. This factors you will find from your tables that you will have, present value, future value tables that you will have, table number C. In that is because you have to bring this 15,000 to the present value, this 20,000 to the present value. Now as on the year 0 you have to get these values. So these you all know already how to see it. 10% for the first year it is so much, 10% for the second year, this values I have taken from the table. And then what will be the discounted cash flow? Multiply this to multiply the cash inflows with the discount rate. After you multiply, you will get the column number D, that is discounted cash flows. And how do you find cumulated discounted cash flows? I already told you for the first year the discounted cash flows and cumulative discounted cash flows will be the same. And from the second year you have to just add it to the previous year. So cumulative cash flow, that is 13,635 plus 16,520 will give you 30,155. Then 30,155 plus 18,775 will give you 48,930. Then 48,930 plus 10,245 will give you 59,175. Then 59,175 plus 6,210 will give you 65,385. Now the next step is we have to see the year in which the cash outflow is equal to the cumulative discounted cash flow, and that will be the year that will be called as a payback period. Now let us see first what is the C year. XYZ is considering to purchase a machine of 50,000 rupees, so the cash outflow is 50,000. Now can you find the exact 50,000 in your cumulative discounted cash flow? No. If it is no, exactly if it is not same, you are going to use a formula. Formula is nothing but N plus our cash outflow minus cumulative cash flow of N divided by cash flow of next year. So N is always the number of years in which the cumulative cash flow is nearing or nearest to the cash outflow. So 50,000 is our outflow. Now which is the year where the value is nearing? Now 48,930 is near to 50,000. So you take year number 3. So you have to always see from above. Don't see from below, which is the year that is nearing. You have to always see from first year, which is nearing. Don't see from down, always see from above. So year number 3 plus what is the cash outflow? 50,000 minus cumulative cash flow of N. Now when N is 3, what is the cumulative cash flow of N? Cumulative cash flow is 48,930 divided by cash flow of next year. So next year's cash flow, that is year 4. What is the cash flow? 10,245. So first you're going to solve this numerator, then divide the numerator with the denominator, and then at last you're going to add it to N. So you get 3.10 years for machine X. On the same grounds you are going to calculate for machine Y. These two columns I have copied as it is from the problem. Sum. Next you are going to use the discount factor of 10%. Then you are going to calculate discounted cash flows. How you have calculated discounted cash flow? Just by multiplying cash flow with the discount factor, cash flow with the discount factor. So you have got the discounted cash flow. How do you are going to find the cumulative cash flow? For the first year, always the discounted cash flow and cumulative cash flow will be same. For second year, it is nothing but the cumulative cash flow of the previous year plus cash flow of the next year, and so on. You have found out cumulative discounted cash flow. Now, are you finding the exact cumulative discounted cash flow which is being equal to the cash outflow? No, cash outflow is 50,000. But from above you have to see the nearest value to 50,000. So 31,955 is nearest. So n is 3. Again you are going to use this formula. N plus cash outflow is 50,000 minus cumulative cash inflow of n is 31,955. We're going to divide it by the cash flow of next year, that is 2490, and then divide the numerator with the denominator and then add it to 2, that is 3 point, add it to the n, that is 3.88 years. So I hope you all have understood the discounted cash payback period. It is nothing but here you are going to use discount factors. That is it. Next, sum on bailout method. Now you all know what is bailout method. We have already seen in the theory, that is cumulative cash receipts plus the salvage value of the end of a particular year is equals to the initial investment. So let us first read the problem. There are two projects, project X and Y, X and W. Project X cost 2 lakhs and project W cost 3 lakhs. Life is 10 years for both. Annual cash inflow is 40,000, 30,000, and salvage value is 1,40,000, but it keeps on declining at an annual rate of 20,000. And your salvage value is nothing but the scrap value. Your scrap value is nothing but 1,60,000, which is declining at a rate of 40,000. Now, how to calculate bailout payback period? We know the formula. It is nothing but cumulative cash receipts plus the salvage value of the end of the year is equals to initial investment. So, the year in which it will be equal to the initial investment, that will be the year of bailout payback period. So, first we take for machine X. Year number 1, and you all know it is equal cash flows. So, year number 1, it is 40,000, 40,000. It is equal cash flows, but we can't use the formula of annual cash outflow divided by cash inflow, because here for bailout they want cumulative cash receipts. So we cannot use that formula. We have to use this formula for bailout. So first year 40,000, second year 40,000. For 10 years you keep on doing. But what if you get the cumulative cash flow plus the salvage value will become to the initial investment? So no need to solve for 10 years. Keep solving till you get the exact year where your total cash outflow will be equal to your cost of the project. So cash flow is 40, 40. Cumulative cash flow is nothing but 40, and 40 plus 40, 80. So what is the formula? Cumulative cash receipts, which we have already got, plus salvage value. So salvage value here is 1,40,000 for the first year. So we have taken 1,40,000, and for the second year it is declining at an annual rate of 20,000. So 1,40,000. So it is declining by 20,000. So next year salvage value will be 1,20,000, because 1,40,000 minus 20,000. Now total cash flow is how much? You have to add this to, right? Because as per the formula you have to add cumulative cash receipts plus the salvage value. So 40,000 plus 4,40,000 is 1,80,000, and 80,000 plus 1,20,000 is 2 lakhs. So what is the outflow? It is initial investment is 2 lakhs. So which is the year in which your initial investment is equal to your cash inflow? So it is the year 2. So bailout period is year 2. Actually you can do it for 10 years, but in case while solving you get the year which is equal to your initial investment, then you can stop there and no need to solve it up to 10 years. For machine W, similar thing, 80,000, cumulative cash flow 80,000. Here salvage value is already given 1,60,000. So you have to just add this 2 as per the formula. But now here you got 2,80,000, and for machine W what is the cost? 3 lakh. So you cannot stop for year number 2, because 2,80,000 is not 3 lakhs. So you have to keep solving unless and until you get 3 lakhs under a range or exact 3 lakh amount. So here you got for the third year cumulative cash flows is 80,000 equally every year. Cumulative cash flow is nothing but cash flow of previous year plus cumulative cash flow of previous year plus cash flow of next year. You keep adding it. Next salvage value is 1,60,000, and here they are telling it is declining at an annual rate of 40,000. So 1,60,000 minus 40,000 is 1,20,000 minus 40,000 is, sorry, there is a mistake here. That is, here it should be 1,80,000. So it should be 1,80,000 here. So I'll make a change. It should be 1,80,000 here. And then what is your total cash flow? It is nothing but 80,000 plus 1,60,000, and then 1,60,000 plus 1,20,000, and 3,40,000 plus it has to be 1,20,000 minus 1,00,000. So it has to be your 20,000. So I will just edit it. It is declining at a rate of 40,000. So here it is going to be 80. Sorry. Here it is going to be 80,000, and this is going to be nothing but 2,40,000 plus 80,000, which is nothing but 3,20,000. Okay, so are you now, you know that your total cost is 3 lakh rupees. So will you keep solving it again? No, because you know that it is 3 lakh rupees is between 2 and 3 years, between these 2 years. So you will stop your solving there. Now, but you are not finding an exact year in which it is equal to the cash outflow. So you're going to use this formula, as you'll already know, that n plus cash outflow minus cumulative cash flow of n divided by cash flow of next year. So from ascending order like this, from the year 1 you have to keep coming and find a year in which it is nearing to the cash outflow. So year number 2. So 2 plus cash outflow is 3 lakh minus cumulative cash flow of n. So what is the cumulative cash flow of year 2? It is 2,80,000 divided by cash flow of next year, which is 80,000 year. This is 80,000 cash flow of next year, which is 80,000. So you got 2 plus 0.25, which is nothing but 2.25 years. So with this we have completed the problems of payback period. So let us go back to the presentation. So where were we? We were solving the problems on payback period. Now I hope you all have understood how to calculate problems on payback period. Now we will be seeing what is accounting rate of return. So this is another traditional technique for evaluating the investment projects. So how do you calculate the accounting rate of return? First let us see the meaning. Accounting rate of return, it is also termed as return on investments, like whatever investment initially you're making and what is the return on that. So that is nothing but the accounting rate of return. It is the ratio of average profit after tax to average investments. So what is the formula for accounting rate of return? It is nothing but, we can use two formulas depending upon the availability of the particular information in the problem. You all can use either of these formulas. So the first formula is average annual earnings after tax. It is after tax divided by average or initial investments into 100. And the second formula is average EBIT. EBIT stands for earnings before interest and tax, in the bracket 1 minus tax divided by average investment into 100. Remember these formulas, it is average earnings divided by average investments, or either you can take initial investment, and average EBIT divided by average investment. Now how do you calculate average investments? So there are two formulas for that. You can use either of the formula. That is initial investment minus salvage value. Salvage value is nothing but the scrap value divided by 2 plus the scrap value and plus the net additional working capital. Or you can also use this formula, that is initial investment plus the salvage value divided by 2. And how do you calculate initial investments? See, because here in this formula it is average or initial investments. So how do you calculate initial investments? It is initial investment plus additional net working capital plus your installation charges plus transportation charges. And EBIT, as I already told you, it is earnings before interest and tax. So once you all know these formulas, you'll have to just substitute in the problems and get the answer. So remember, it is average annual earnings after tax divided by average initial investments. Now let us see the problems on accounting rate of return. Okay. So from the following information, calculate accounting rate of return. ARR is nothing but the accounting rate of return from the two alternatives given below. So continuation of old machine and installation of new machine. So whether a particular organization should continue with the old machine or should install a new machine. So you all can decide based on this investment plan by using the technique of accounting rate of return. So the cost price is 20,000 for old machine and for the new machine it is 50,000. Estimated cash cost is 10,000 and for the new machine 12,000. Estimated revenue per annum 18,000 for old machine, 24,000 for the new machine. Scrap value 4,000 for old machine and 10,000 for the new machine. And estimated life of the machine is 8 years and 10 years for the new machine. So tax is charged at the rate of 50%. From the given information, calculate accounting rate of return. So first of all, we'll just write the formula for accounting rate of return. Accounting rate of return is nothing but average annual earnings after tax divided by average or initial investment into 100. So for old machine, we will see what is. First of all, we need to calculate earnings. Earnings is nothing but always your revenue minus your cost will give you your earnings once you and from that earnings is nothing but profit. From that profit, when you minus the tax, you will get earnings after tax. And initial investments, average investments, you also know the formula. We have already seen the formula. So we need to calculate the numerator as well as denominator. So we have a working note. Before we see the final answer, let us first see the working notes. The first working note is for your numerator, that is calculation of average annual earnings after tax. So earnings is nothing but profit. You know how we derive at the profit, that is nothing but revenue minus the cost. So estimated revenue per annum is 18,000 for old machine, 24,000 for new machine. This I have taken from the problem itself. Less estimated cash cost and depreciation. Here nowhere they are saying that cash. They are just saying average annual earnings after tax. So nowhere they are saying that cash earnings. So we can deduct depreciation also. How we calculated depreciation we will see down. So cash cost is given in the problem 10,000 and 12,000. Depreciation, let us go to see how we solve depreciation. Since depreciation is an expense and no direct amount of depreciation is given, therefore let us calculate depreciation. How do we calculate depreciation? Cost price minus scrap value divided by the number of years. Cost price is already given for machine. Old machine it is 20,000, for new machine it is 50,000 minus the scrap value 4,000 for old, for new machine 10,000 divided by estimated life. For old machine it is 8 years, for new machine it is 10 years. So thereby we have calculated depreciation for old machine comes up to 2,000 rupees. For new machine it comes up to 4,000 rupees. So what we have done, taken the revenue first, from that we have deducted the cost. So from 18,000 minus 12,000, that is total cost, we got earnings before tax, that is 6,000 and 8,000 for new machine. Then we have deducted tax at the rate of 50%. So like tax is always calculated on earnings before tax. So 6,000 into 50%, that is 3,000, and 8,000 into 50%, that is 4,000. Therefore earnings after tax is 3,000 and 4,000. So now we have got the numerator. So we will write here 3,000 for old machine and 4,000 for the new machine. Now let us calculate the average or initial investment. Here in this problem I choose to take average investment. So what is the formula for average investment? There are two formulas we have seen. One is this formula and the other is initial investment plus salvage value divided by 2. So I've taken this formula: initial investment minus salvage value divided by 2 plus scrap value plus net additional working capital. Net additional working capital is not given in the problem, so we consider it as 0. Initial investment is nothing but the cash outflow, which we know is 20,000, that is the cost of the project, minus salvage value is 4,000 for old machine divided by 2 plus scrap value is 4,000. So for old machine the average investment is 12,000. For new machine it is again nothing but the cost minus the scrap value divided by 2 plus the scrap value. Plus first always solve this part and then add 10,000, you get 30,000. Just substitute this figure in the formula, you will get the answer. So for old machine the average investment is 12,000, for new machine the average investment is 30,000. So it is 25% is the return on investment for old machine, and for the new machine the accounting rate of return is 13.33%. This rate of return will always be in percentage, that is why we multiply it into 100. Moving to the next problem. A project cost rupees 1 lakh and has a scrap value of rupees 20,000. So what is the initial investment? 1 lakh, scrap value is 20,000. The estimated cash inflows from this project before depreciation and taxes during the first 5 years are 20,000, 24,000, 28,000, 32,000 and 40,000. Assuming 50% tax rate and depreciation on straight line basis. What do you mean by straight line basis? Means every year the same amount of depreciation is charged. Calculate the accounting rate of return. The accounting rate of return is nothing but average annual earnings after tax divided by average or initial investment into 100. Before we see the final answer, let us first calculate the numerator and then the denominator. So working note number 1, calculation of average annual earnings after tax. So these two columns I have taken as it is based on the question. For the first 5 years, so the first year it is 20,000, second year 24,000, third year 28,000, fourth year 32,000 and fifth year 40,000. So these are cash inflows and these are the earnings of cash, but before depreciation. So we have to charge depreciation and also tax. So depreciation is 16,000 per year. How did we calculate that 16,000? So see here note number 3. We have used the formula, that is cost price minus scrap value divided by useful life. Cost price we know is 1 lakh given in the problem. Scrap value is 20,000 given in the problem, divided by it has 5 useful years. So depreciation is 16,000. Since they have told that use straight line method, so every year we have charged same amount of depreciation. So earnings after depreciation is total is 20,000, but you have to minus the depreciation because it is an expense. So what is our earnings? Always I told you, revenue minus expense will give you earnings. Depreciation is earnings, and in this method there is nowhere written as cash inflow or cash outflow, so we have to minus the cash and non-cash expenses also. So earnings after depreciation is how much? 20 minus 16, 24 minus 16, 28 minus 16, 32 minus 16 and 40,000 minus 16. So these are earnings after depreciation. After depreciation only you can calculate tax. Tax is at the rate of 50% given in the problem. So tax is always calculated on earnings. So 50% of 4,000 is 2,000. 50% of 8,000 is 4,000, 50% of 12,000 is 6,000 and so on. So what is going to be earnings after tax? So minus 4,000 with 2,000, earnings before tax minus the tax will give you earnings after tax. So when you add all this, you will get annual earnings after tax. Now here they are saying that there is an average annual earnings after tax. How do you remove average? By dividing it by with the number of cash inflows, dividing by the number of years of cash inflows. So you know annual earnings after taxes, you have added all this, you got 32,000 and number of years is 5 years. So what is the average annual earnings after taxes? 32,000 divided by 5, that is 6,400. So we have calculated the numerator, which is 6,400. Now seeing the denominator. Denominator, now I've used a different formula. Calculation of average investments. There are two formulas. So I have solved first problem based on other formula and the next problem based on other formula for you all to, so that you'll understand that we can use any of the formula to calculate average investment. It is initial investment plus scrap value divided by 2. So initial investment is was given in the problem 1 lakh plus scrap value also is already given in the problem 20,000 divided by 2, which is nothing but 60,000. So we got both numerator and denominator divided and multiplied by 100 to get 10.67% as accounting rate of return. Now the third problem is be your homework and you'll have to solve it in your assignment book. So very simple problem and it is based on the problems that we solved above. Machine A and B are detailed below. Cost is 50,000, machine A, machine B also 50,000. Earnings after depreciation and tax. So already here it is after the depreciation and tax. So first year 3,000, second year 5,000, 7,000, 9,000, 11,000, and similarly the total cash inflows is 35,000, and for machine B also. So it is after earnings. Now you need not for ARR method you need not deduct depreciation and taxes because already this is after depreciation. So and taxes. Depreciation has been charged on SLM and estimated life is 5 years. You are required to find out ARR on both the machines. Now how will you find out ARR for both the machines? You know the formula, that is average annual uh, earnings after tax divided by average investments, but here it is already after tax, so you have to just do average earnings, which will be nothing but 35,000 divided by 5. Now payback period for both the machines. Now you have to also find out payback period for both the machines. Now since it is unequal cash flows, so first you have to find for machine A cumulative cash inflows and machine B cumulative cash inflows. Then you have to see the year in which your cumulative cash inflows is equal to the cash outflows. That will be the year as a payback period. But it is cash inflows and cash outflows. So depreciation जो already is been minus, here you have to add it back. Remember that in ARR it is not cash inflow, cash outflow, it is earnings. So it will include cash, non-cash items. But in case of payback, you have to consider only cash items. And these include even a non-cash items as depreciation. So you have to add back depreciation and then find out the payback period. And next, ARR when salvage value of machine A is 3000 and machine B is 0. Now see ARR of both the machines. If salvage value is not given, always consider the salvage value to be 0. So under these three cases, you all find out the ARR payback period and ARR when salvage value of machine A is 3000 and machine B is 0. The answers also I have given you all, but you will need to solve it. Any difficulty you can contact me. So we have completed this part, that is payback period, discounted payback period and accounting rate of return. In my next video lectures, we will be seeing net present value, internal rate of return, MIRR, profitability index and case study on replacement of capital projects. So I hope you all have understood and thank you. We have completed and come to the end of module 4.2a, that is traditional methods of investment evaluation techniques. Thank you.